I'm ready. What up? Let's get to it. So Randy Moss says he don't care what nobody talking about. JJ McCarthy should play his rookie season. Now you could look at this different ways. Now, to a certain extent, I agree with the whole Randy Moss saying, throw him in there, throw him in there, let him play. Let him play. Randy Moss's thing is, hey, you're gonna have to play eventually. Why not throw the dude in there, let him play? He's a rookie. See what he can do. See what he really can do. And like I say, I understand that to a certain extent. Sometimes you got to throw a player, person into the fire, dog. Not just talking in football sense, but in life in general. Sometimes, dog, can't be scared to throw a guy who may not be ready, but you won't know if he's ready until you throw him in there, huh? Period, point blank. And at the end of the day, how I feel about it, why did you bring him in? You didn't bring him in to be a backup. You didn't bring him in as far as like you brought Jaron Hall in, not really expecting big things from him. If you do get great contributions, that's an A+ win. But JJ McCarthy, they drafted him to play, drafted him to start potentially, right? Now I understand Sam Darnold's in the building, dog, but is Sam Darnold a guy they really want to rely on and lean on? No. Like I say, they expected JJ McCarthy to be the future franchise quarterback. So if that's what you see in him, you believe in his abilities, like Randy Moss said, throw him in there. Throw him in there. And I don't necessarily agree, but at the same time, and I'm going to get into the article in the video in a minute, but at the same time, you throw a guy in there too fast. If he's not ready, you break his confidence, right? Kill his confidence. He loses all belief, loses all trust, not only in himself, his decision making, but loses all trust in his coach and his staff, right? We've seen it all around the league, i.e., the scandalous Chicago Bears, how they have ruined quarterbacks, homie. They're not the only squad. But if the Vikings bring him in there and throw him into the fire too early, it could be issues, especially if they already know it's already some concern about him being inaccurate, huh? Not being able to read the defense. Needs more work, more time on his technique, on his mechanics. You hear me? On his footwork. Subtle things, but things that need to be addressed. So, it's two sides to the story. It can go either way, duh. So like I've been saying, it's good. It's a positive that they have Sam Darnold, a true veteran, even though he's still young with a lot to prove. A lot of things are unknown about him. But it's the perfect situation, unlike the Bears. I'm going to keep throwing up the Bears because they got the nerve to say the Bears will be better than the Vikings. So let's disrespect the scandalous Bears. You hear me? They're not in the Bears situation where they got to force their rookie to play because they have no other options. They can sit McCarthy if need be. Let him rest. Let him heal. You hear me? Let him adapt to the game. Let him get acquainted to the game, right? You hear me? Let him get acquainted. Let him zone in. Let him learn from Sam Darnold. Learn from leadership, right? Understand what's going on. The ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. So they have time, dog, at their leisure. But at the end of the day, I get what Randy Moss is saying, dog. He a first-round pick. He even said your first, second, third round, they all playing. They all playing, homie. Yeah. 4th through 7th, we don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see how it pans out. But your top 3-round picks, your first, second, and third round picks, they in the game, dog. Hands down, man. That. And I like I say, I agree with that mentality to a certain extent, dog. You got to throw him in the fire, homie. See what he can do. See what he can do. But in this day and age of the NFL, you don't really got to rush a player, homie. Especially when you have a, competent veteran quarterback who can, just control the cells for him. And like I say, Sam Darnold was a lot of unanswered questions about him, homie. But me, I would love to see JJ McCarthy get in there, dog. Week 1, let's get it, yeah. But nah, you don't want to just throw him in there just cause he's a rookie, just because he's a top 10 quarterback. But you do expect him to be the backup, be in front of Nick Mullens, right? Heavy, dog. You expect him to be in front of Nick Mullens, at least that, right? But we'll see what happens, dog. Point blank, period. You hear me? Let's get into this article, though, man. Randy Moss, the legend, one of the GOATs, though, man. Let's see what you're really talking about, man. Let's get it, man. Give me a second, man. Yeah, man. Randy Moss wants JJ McCarthy starting in week 1 for the Vikings. He needs to be out there. Moss said that in his era, all of the top draft picks played right away. Different era though, Moss. You hear me? Let's get it. Vikings legend Randy Moss believes rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy should be starting in week 1 for Minnesota this September. Moss told Kay Adams on her Up and Adams show that in his era, everybody drafted in the first 3 rounds played right away. Now, once again, this is a different era, Moss. In this era, back then it might have been easier for players to adapt to the game, adjust to the game. Now the game is a lot faster, right? You can't play defense like you used to. You hear me? The rules are different, huh? The laws of the land are different, dog. Probably much harder for quarterbacks now, huh? Defenses are different. Players are faster, bigger, strong. So there's so many different variables and factors that go into a first round pick, a second round pick, even a third round pick, actually playing, starting, and being successful. In this area, you put a guy in the fire too fast, you're going to burn him. You hear me? He going to burn, dog. So I get, like I say, I understand what Moss is saying, dog. Put him in there. Sometimes you got to throw players in there. We've seen the previous years, even in the Mike Zimmer Spillman era, they waited too long to put guys in because he was a rookie, etc. Even Justin Jefferson, he's a rookie. He's too young. We gotta wait. We gotta wait to the perfect time. Kill that noise cap, man. If a dude is ready, put him in the game, boy. Period. So I agree with Randy Moss, especially with the Vikings situation, because even with KOC, we know sometimes he's too scary to put players in. You hear me? Scary sometimes, dog. Ty Chandler should have been playing as a rookie. You hear me? A lot of guys should have been playing, dog. Period. So I get what he's saying. Definitely. Don't get it twisted. I don't want to see J.J. McCarthy at all this year, Adam said. Kay Adams, you're a little sweet shorty. You don't understand. I mean, she understands it, but she don't understand football for real. But Kay Adams, a little sexy shorty. So she going to be all sentimental, be all fragile with McCarthy. Come on, Adams. Does she really understand? Like, rookies playing, younger players playing. She might not, dog. It's part of the game, right? Why not? Moss replied. Because I just feel like the best thing is for him to sit, learn, because that means Sam Darnold was doing a good job, Adams explains. Well, the best thing, if we're talking about the best thing from your first round pick, would be him playing, starting, producing, playing at a high level, dog. That would be the best thing if we're being real, Kay Adams. You hear me? That would be the best thing for him and the Vikings. And she has a point. If they don't need McCarthy in the game, that means Sam Darnold is performing well. Facts. Or it could also mean that J.J. McCarthy isn't ready, and he might not be prepared for the league. So it can mean an array of things. But at the end of the day, best case scenario is J.J. McCarthy starting over Darnold and playing well. You hear? My thing is, when we played the first 3 guys that were drafted, they're playing, said Moss. The Hall of Fame receiver who was drafted by the Vikings in 1998, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, the 4th, 5th, and 6th round, we'll see. They may or may not see the field. Maybe a special teamer. First 3 rounds back then, we played. See, Moss coming at it from like his angle, his way, the way it was when he back in his day. His thing is, hey, throw him in there, dog. Throw him in there. You a first, second, third round, you got to be ready. If not, we're going to get you ready. So I get Moss. Moss, the old school mentality. You hear me? He comes from an era where the players played, dog. It was no coddle in them. You hear me? Putting them in handcuffs. Man, you let him go. Let him off the leash, dog. So I get where Moss is coming from. You hear me? And like I say, if J.J. McCarthy is more than halfway ready, put him in that thing, dog. I've been saying that. Put him up in there. You hear? I'm definitely not against McCarthy playing, dog. Period. Bottom line. Heavy, dog. So you asked me the question, McCarthy, I don't care if he's not ready. He needs to be out there. So Moss's thing is, hey, man, put him in there. His thing is, even if he ain't ready, I guarantee he gets ready. So he thinks if McCarthy, if his skill level is there, if he is that type caliber of quarterback, a true top 10 quarterback, you would assume, hey, you put him in there. Eventually he going be ready if he's not ready, dog. But you got to walk a thin line with that at the end of the day. You hear me, dog? Point blank, period.
I don't want to see J.J. McCarthy at all this year.
Why not?
Because I just feel like the best thing is for him to sit, learn that, because that means Sam Darnold's doing a good job.
No, I mean, if you draft,
You want to see JJ?
no, well, my thing is when we played the first three guys that drafted, they're playing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, the fourth, fifth, and sixth round, we'll see. They may or may not see the field, maybe a special teamer. First 3 rounds back then we played. Now you're drafting guys first round. They're not even seeing the field. So
Yeah.
you ask me a question. Yeah, Jay, I don't care if he's not ready. He needs to be out there.
Week 1?
Week 1, week 2, whatever. Let's get it, man. So like you say, you just broke it down, dog. We know what's up, man. Moss's opinion comes from his own personal experiences of playing in the NFL in the late 90s and throughout the 2000s. But although the idea of sitting a highly drafted quarterback early in his career has become more commonplace in recent years, it isn't a new one. Moss was playing when the Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers in 2005 and set him behind Brett Favre for 3 years. That turned out pretty well for Green Bay. Hey, man, it is what it is, dog. It's really y'all opinion, man. You know what I'm saying? It's really y'all opinion. Like you say, Aaron Rodgers, man, set for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Different stories. Look at Jordan Love. You hear me? It is what it is, dog. Some players can sit. Some players have to sit. Some players sit 3 years and come out balling, dog. Some players are prepared to go right away, man. But at the end of the day, it comes down to KOC understanding his personnel and understanding McCarthy, dog. Ultimately, the Vikings have made it very clear that they're going to do what's best for McCarthy and his development. The number 10 overall pick out of Michigan will have the opportunity to compete for the job in training camp and prove that he's ready to start right away. Yes, on McCarthy, he's going to have to prove he's ready, dog. It comes down to him, period. However, it has always felt like the most likely outcome is that the 21-year-old won't be the week 1 starter. The Vikings signed Darnold as the bridge quarterback this offseason, so they don't have to put McCarthy out on the field before he's ready and risk messing up his development. That's facts, dog. You don't want to kill the guy's confidence, period. There's validity to the theory that players benefit most from being thrust into game reps. Some quarterbacks like Houston C.J. Stroud last year are ready to thrive from the outset. C.J. Stroud, a different player, though, a real different animal. Could J.J. McCarthy do the same thing? He could. Yeah, I mean, you don't know until you know. But C.J. Stroud, different type player, dog. That's very rare. It happened, but it's rare, homie. You hear me? And it was clear, evident that he was ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure the Texans wouldn't have threw him out there if they didn't feel he was ready, dog. There's also validity to the theory that young QBs can benefit from sitting and learning, only playing when they're ready. The Packers have done it again with Jordan Love, facts, who sat behind Rodgers for 3 years before exploding onto the scene last season. Like I say, different stories, different journeys, different routes, dog. Every quarterback's different. All Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, Kevin O'Connell, and the Vikings can do with McCarthy is monitor him closely during training camp and make the decision they feel is for his future. Facts, bro. And that's what it is. You hear me? That's all they can do, dog. Monitor him, make sure he's progressing, develop him in the right way, and see what he does. If he's ready, he's ready. If not, he's not, dog, period. But like I say, I totally understand what Randy Moss is saying, but you're walking a thin line, dog. You have to be careful, especially when you're talking about the quarterback position. Let me know how you feel about it. You agree or disagree, man? Do you agree with Moss? Should J.J. McCarthy start no matter what? Let's get it, man. Fire them comments up. Feedback is much appreciated. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell. Big skull hit. Skull Vikes forever, dog. Heavy. Yeah.